What if the difference between getting no extra money at all and getting a real Social Security lump sum came down to 5 plain yes or no questions? Not a trick, not a special program nobody told you about, not one of those wild promises that says everybody over a certain age is owed a giant check. I'm talking about something much more ordinary than that. And because it's ordinary, a lot of people miss it. If you clicked because you heard the number $6,710, let me calm this down right away. That exact number is not a standard payment, and it does not go to everybody. But for some people, a back pay amount in that range can be real if their own situation fits a very specific set of rules. The key is not the number. The key is the rule behind the number. And that is exactly why I make these videos. A lot of older people are not losing sleep because they did anything wrong. They're losing sleep because money rules are often explained in a rushed, confusing, or dramatic way. If I can help you avoid one bad assumption, one missed step, or one phone call made too late, then this video is worth making. So if that kind of help matters to you, stay with me. Now, I know there are really two kinds of people watching this. The first person has been carrying this question around for a while. Maybe you've delayed filing. Maybe you've already called Social Security once or twice and still felt unsure. Maybe you keep hearing words like retroactive benefits, delayed credits, full retirement age, and start date, and it all starts sounding like alphabet soup. The second person just got a jolt today. Maybe you saw a title online, or a friend mentioned a lump sum, and now you're wondering, wait a minute, did I miss money I could have had months ago? If that's you, take a breath. This is fixable, but only if we separate real rules from noisy headlines. The hidden truth here is simple. Most people do not miss money because Social Security is hiding it from them. They miss money because different benefit types get mixed together, small words carry big meaning, and one choice can help in one case while hurting in another. The good news is that once you know what to look for, this gets a lot less mysterious. A quick word about me before we keep going. I spend a lot of time turning complicated money topics into plain kitchen table English because that's how most people actually make decisions. Not with fancy terms, not with legal language, just clear thinking, one step at a time. So here's what we're going to do together. We're going to sort out what this so-called back pay really is, who it may apply to, what 5 questions you need to answer yes to before that title even makes sense, and what mistake can turn a nice-looking lump sum into a decision you regret later. And if a phone call, website, timing choice, or document matters, I'll point that out in the plainest way I can. First, let's clear this up. When most people hear the word back pay in a Social Security retirement video, what they are usually talking about is retroactive retirement benefits. That sounds technical, but the idea is simple. In some cases, if you have already reached your full retirement age and you are filing for your own Social Security retirement benefit, you may be able to ask for benefits to start a few months before the month you apply. But there are limits, a very important limit. For retirement benefits, that look back is not endless. It is not 1 year. It is not however long you forgot to file. In general, it can go back no more than 6 months, and it cannot go back to any month before you reached your full retirement age. That one sentence knocks out a lot of bad advice right away. So let's make this feel real. Suppose your full retirement age has already passed, and your monthly benefit, based on the start date you choose, would be around $1,118. If you qualify for 6 months of retroactive retirement benefits, that could add up to roughly $6,700. That is how a number like $6,710 can show up in a headline, not because everybody gets a standard $6,710 check, but because somebody's own monthly benefit times the number of retroactive months can land in that neighborhood. That's the first thing to understand. This is not a prize. It is not a bonus. It is not an extra payment added on top just because you're older. It is a choice about your start date, and that choice has consequences. And just as important, this mainly applies to people talking about their own retirement benefit after full retirement age. That is why so many people get confused. They hear one video talking about retirement, another talking about disability, another talking about SSI, and suddenly it all gets mashed together like it's one big rule. It is not. So who does this first part apply to? It may apply to you if you have not started your own retirement benefit yet, you are already at or past your full retirement age, and you are trying to decide whether to start now or choose an earlier start month within the allowed window. It probably does not apply the way you think if you started your own retirement benefit years ago, or if you are talking about SSI, or if you are really asking about Social Security disability, which follows different back pay rules. Your action step here is very simple. Before you worry about any lump sum at all, write down two facts on a piece of paper: your birth year and the month you reached your full retirement age. If you do not know your full retirement age, find that first. Everything else sits on top of that. Now let's come to the 5 yes or no questions, because this is where the title either stands up or falls apart. Question 1. Are you talking about your own Social Security retirement benefit? That matters because retirement, disability, and SSI do not work the same way. SSI does not use this kind of retroactive retirement rule. Disability can involve back pay in some cases, but that is a different road, and there is usually a waiting period before disability benefits can begin. So if you are thinking about one program while listening to advice about another, you can get misled very fast. Question 2. Have you already reached your full retirement age? Not just age 62, not just Medicare age, your full retirement age. For many older viewers today, that age is somewhere between 66 and 67, depending on birth year. If you have not reached full retirement age, then the idea of retroactive retirement benefits the way people describe it in these headlines usually does not fit. Social Security does not pay retirement benefits retroactively for months before your full retirement age if that would permanently reduce your monthly amount. Question 3. Are you filing for benefits now or getting ready to file rather than talking about a claim that has been paying you for a long time? This rule matters at the time you file. It is about choosing a start date within the allowed window. It is not usually about going back years later and saying, "I've changed my mind. Send me extra months now." Question 4. Are the months you want to claim all within the past 6 months and after your full retirement age month? This is the cap that catches people by surprise. Even if you waited a year or 2 years or longer after reaching full retirement age, that does not mean Social Security will pay you retroactively for all of those past months. In general, the limit is 6 months. Question 5. Are you okay with the fact that taking retroactive months can mean a smaller monthly check going forward? And this is the big one people skip. Because when you ask for retroactive retirement benefits, Social Security is basically treating you as though your benefits started earlier. Earlier start means fewer delayed retirement credits. Fewer delayed credits can mean a lower monthly benefit for the rest of your life than if you had started later with no retroactive months. If you answered yes to all 5 of those questions, then you may be in the right lane to ask whether retroactive retirement benefits are available in your case. Not guaranteed, not automatic, but worth asking about. Let me give you 2 quick examples so you can feel the difference. Let's say Margaret has already been collecting her own Social Security retirement benefit since age 62. She hears a headline at age 68 about back pay and thinks she can now claim 6 extra months. In most cases, that is not what this rule is about. She already started years ago. Now let's say David waited until after full retirement age and is only now getting ready to file for his own retirement benefit. He may have a real decision to make about whether to start with the current month or ask for a start date a few months back, as long as it fits the rules. Same word, very different situation. If this is helping you sort the real issue from the noise, stay with me. Sometimes one careful sentence saves more money than a dozen dramatic videos. Now let's look at the second big thing people misunderstand. A lot of people think the question is, do I qualify for back pay? But the better question is, which kind of benefit am I actually talking about? That sounds small, but it changes everything. If you are talking about your own retirement benefit, the 6-month retroactive rule after full retirement age may be the issue. If you are talking about Social Security disability, that is a different story. Disability back pay can work differently, and disability claims usually involve a waiting period before benefits can begin. If you are talking about SSI, that is another different story. And people often assume SSI works like retirement benefits when it does not. If you are talking about spousal or survivor benefits, there can be special rules there too, and you should never assume they work exactly like your own retirement benefit just because the words sound similar. This is why people feel whiplash. One person says, I got back pay. Another says, no, that's not allowed. Both may be telling the truth about their own case. They are just not talking about the same benefit type. Here's a plain example. Suppose Clara heard that someone got disability back pay and now Clara thinks her retirement filing works the same way. It may not. Or suppose Henry heard that somebody on retirement got 6 months retroactive pay and now Henry thinks his SSI case should work the same way. It does not. This is one of those places where a lot of confusion comes from honest misunderstanding, not from anybody being foolish. So your action step here is this. Say the exact name of your benefit out loud before you do anything else. Your own retirement benefit, spousal benefit, survivor benefit, disability, SSI. If you cannot name it clearly, do not make a money decision yet. Get that straight first. It sounds almost silly, but it can save you from comparing apples to garden hoses. And let me say this kindly. If you've ever nodded through a Social Security conversation while thinking, I hope I can figure this out later, you are not alone. Half of financial stress comes from words that sound familiar but do not mean what we think they mean. Now let's get to the third thing, and this may be the most important part for many of you. A lump sum is exciting. A monthly check is easy to underestimate. That is where people get into trouble. Let's say Linda reached full retirement age and kept waiting. By age 68, because she delayed, her monthly benefit might be higher than it would have been at full retirement age. If she starts now with no retroactive months, maybe her monthly amount is about $2,160. But suppose she asks for 6 months of retroactive retirement benefits. Now, Social Security may treat her as though she started 6 months earlier. That could reduce her monthly amount, maybe to something like $2,080 instead. Now, suddenly Linda is looking at two choices. Choice 1, no retroactive lump sum, but a higher monthly check for life. Choice 2, a lump sum for those 6 past months, but a lower monthly check going forward. Neither choice is automatically wrong. If Linda needs cash now for a roof, a medical bill, or to rebuild savings after a rough year, the lump sum may help. But if Linda is healthy, expects to live a long time, and does not urgently need the money now, the higher monthly benefit may be worth more over the years. This is where bad videos do damage. They make the lump sum sound like free extra money added on top. It usually is not. It is more like choosing between money now and potentially more money later. And that decision should never be made in a fog. Another thing people miss is that delayed retirement credits stop building at age 70. So if someone has already waited all the way to 70, the comparison may look different than it does at 67 or 68. Timing matters. Here's the common mistake in one sentence. People chase the headline amount without comparing the lifetime monthly amount. Please do not do that. Before you choose a retroactive start date, ask for both numbers. Ask what your monthly check would be if benefits start now, and what it would be if benefits start in the earlier month you are considering. Not just the lump sum, both numbers. If you have a My Social Security account, use it to review your estimated benefits and get your bearings. Then, if you are seriously weighing a retroactive start date, ask Social Security to explain the monthly amount under each option so you are not guessing. That is your action step here. Do not say yes to a lump sum until you have seen the monthly amount next to it. And if you are the kind of person who still trusts pencil, paper, and the back of an envelope, good. This is exactly a back of the envelope kind of decision before it becomes a lifetime one. Now let's talk about the fourth thing, and this is where timing can quietly cost people money. Some people wait and wait and wait because they think all those missed months will just pile up for them automatically. That is not how it works. Let me show you with a simple example. Imagine two brothers, Sam and Joe. Both reach full retirement age. Both decide not to file right away. Sam learns the rules and checks in before he files. When he is ready, he asks, if I choose a start date a few months back, what happens to my lump sum and what happens to my monthly amount? He makes a deliberate choice. Joe assumes that if he waits 2 full years, he can just claim all 2 years in a lump sum later. He cannot. In general, the retroactive window for retirement benefits is only up to 6 months, and not before full retirement age. So by the time Joe finally asks, he finds out he has a choice only within that limited window. He did not get cheated. He just misunderstood the rule. And that is the heartbreaking part about so many of these situations. The money loss often does not come from a bad person or a broken system. It comes from one wrong assumption sitting quietly for too long. Here is another timing issue that matters. If you are past 65 and you delayed filing for Social Security retirement because you wanted a higher monthly amount later, that decision does not automatically solve your Medicare timing. Those are separate choices. In some cases, if you do not sign up for Medicare at the right time, you can run into delays or higher costs later unless you had other qualifying coverage, like active employer coverage. That is not today's main topic, but it matters because some people delay Social Security and accidentally delay something else they should have handled separately. Back to our main point. The strongest example is not a flashy number. It is the difference between checking in time and checking too late. The person who checks in time gets to compare options. The person who checks too late gets fewer options. That is almost always the real story. So if you are already past full retirement age and you plan to file soon, your action step is this. Decide your intended start month before you submit the application. Do not assume Social Security will automatically choose the best month for you. Ask the question clearly. What are my options if I start this month versus a retroactive start date within the allowed window? That one question can turn a cloudy decision into a clean one. By the way, if you've made it this far, you are exactly the kind of person who tends to avoid expensive mistakes. Not because you know every rule already, but because you're willing to slow down long enough to understand the rule before acting on it. That matters more than people think. Now let me give you 2 bonus points because if you stayed with me this long, you deserve the part most people never hear. First bonus point, and this one is helpful. If you start your retirement benefit before age 70 after delaying past full retirement age, some of the delayed retirement credits earned in the year you start may not show up in your monthly payment until the following January. That means your first payment may not always look exactly how you expected if you were counting every delayed month right away. So if you file after full retirement age and your first monthly amount looks a bit lower than you thought, do not panic on day one and assume something went wrong. Save your award notice. Compare the numbers. And if needed, ask whether any delayed credits are still due to be added later. Sometimes the problem is not a wrong benefit. It is just timing in how the increase gets reflected. That is your bonus action step. Keep the letter, keep the numbers, and check again after January if your start date was before age 70. Second bonus point, and this one is a warning. Do not let a catchy back pay idea push you into rushing the application without looking at the whole picture. If you are married, widowed, divorced after a long marriage, still working, managing taxes carefully, or dealing with Medicare decisions, your filing choice may connect to more than one moving part. That does not mean you need to be scared. It just means one money choice rarely lives alone. A person who grabs a lump sum too fast may later wish they had compared the monthly amount. A person who delays too long without understanding the 6-month cap may wish they had asked sooner. A person who mixes up retirement rules with disability or SSI rules may spend weeks chasing the wrong answer. So your warning action step is simple. Before you file, pause long enough to ask, what else in my life touches this choice? Spouse, Medicare, work income, monthly budget? If one of those lights flashes, slow down and get the full picture. Now let's pull all of this together in the simplest way possible. The main idea is not that everybody qualifies for $6,710 in Social Security back pay. The main idea is that some people who file for their own retirement benefit after reaching full retirement age may have a real choice about a retroactive start date, usually within a limited window, and that choice can create a lump sum. Why does this matter? Because the same choice that puts money in your hand now can also lower your monthly check going forward. So the smart move is not to chase the biggest headline. The smart move is to compare the start dates, compare the monthly amounts, and understand which benefit type you are actually dealing with. And what should you do today? Write down your full retirement age month, confirm which Social Security benefit you are talking about, and if you are getting ready to file after full retirement age, ask clearly about both options, the monthly benefit if you start now, and the monthly benefit if you choose an earlier retroactive start date within the allowed rules. That is the real takeaway. Clear rule, clear comparison, clear next step. And one thing before you go. If you know one person who keeps saying, I think Social Security owes me something, but I can't tell what's true anymore, send this video to them. Not because it promises a magic check, but because it may help them ask the right question before they make the wrong decision. Sometimes sharing calm information is the kindest financial help you can give. In the next video, I'm going to walk through a few Social Security choices that look small on paper but can change your monthly income more than people expect. The kind of choices people make in 10 rushed minutes and then live with for years. So if you want that one, come back and watch with me.